January 1973, I remember very distinctly. Right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. My father had died when I just about finished college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. And I was just married 4 weeks then. But folks, I saw my life change. We started selling little things to get money for food. We started selling furniture. I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last piece of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. Did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all 3. Finally, November 13, 1975, I decided to leave India. My sister sponsored me from Canada, went to Toronto, rented a 1-bedroom apartment. We were sleeping on the floor. We had no furniture. My wife is an MBA. She took up a job as a cashier at a bank at $600 a month to keep money coming in for food. And I used to go out wearing my suit and my tie, doing nothing. And when people asked me, what do you do for a living? I was embarrassed to tell them I am unemployed. I used to say, I do import-export. Now don't get me wrong, I tried. Went on like this for a year. Now just about that time, after a year, I was going through a trade show and a young Canadian was following me from behind, looked like a handyman, came close, asked my name, and he asked me, what do you do for a living? I said, import-export. And he asked me, how much money do you make? Now, I did give him a rather flat answer. I said, that's none of your business. But that day, it got me thinking, it doesn't matter how many suits and ties you wear, people can tell you got nothing inside. One day, I was doing a demo in an Indian family's home. And the man and woman were sitting on the sofa and I was on the floor. And this man, instead of looking at the vacuum cleaner, he kept looking at me all the time. So I asked him, sir, did I do something wrong? He said, no. I said, then why do you look at me this way? He asked me, have you ever sold life insurance? I said, no, I have never sold life insurance. And besides, I never will. I had a family to support our little daughter, and my wife also knew my failure record in life was pretty good. Well, this guy who's got everything rolling took me to his office, introduced me to his district manager, who was a very sharp elderly man by the name of Joe Bonney, and he said, if you decide to become life insurance agent right now, I'll give you a draw of $150 a week, and I'll give you time to think before I withdraw the offer. He said, you got 30 seconds to decide. I said, Joe, you said you'll give me time to think. He said, you have 20 left now. I said, I'll take it. And now I became a life insurance agent, which I never in my life ever wanted to be. And folks, for the next 3 months, I went out selling. I put in 100%. I can look at the mirror and say, I did my best. And guess what? I broke the company's record. Which record I broke? How many sales I made? Almost none. So my manager called me right back. He said, I've been in this life insurance business 35 years and I've seen some slow starts in my life, but I've never seen one like you. He said, don't come back tomorrow, you're fired. I said, wait a minute, Joe, before you fire me, at least you hear me out. I'm not an educated person. I'm not a doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant. I'm a BCom 3rd division, failed in my 10th. I got a handicap. How do you expect performance out of me? Folks, that day, somebody spoke very harshly to me, and I'm glad he did. And later on, I realized it was not anger, it was concern. And here's what he said to me. He said, you shut up! You shut up and listen to me. He said, you don't have a handicap, you got a bad attitude. And it is people like you, not only do they ruin their own lives, but they also ruin their family's life too. And he said, do you know who has a handicap in life? He said, the doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant, they all have handicaps. I said, boy, never heard that one. How do they have handicaps? He said, go check out all over the world. It is generally true, exceptions different. They all have chosen their field, they're stuck. They all have chosen the field, they're stuck. He said, you haven't chosen your field. Don't you see the world is open to you? I said, Joe, I never thought from that point of view. He said, now that you're fired, he said, you got all the time to think, so leave my office. I just burst out into crying. And I said, Joe, will you let me stay? I make one commitment to you, I will not let you down because of my effort. But if you fire me today, I don't know where to go. The only place I know where to go is go back to washing cars. And I said, I don't want to do that anymore. I got a family to support. But I commit, I won't let you down. He looked at me, he says, Shiv, that's not your small one, that's your big one. And he said, I'll only let you stay here if you make a commitment, not to me, but to yourself. I'll let you stay. Folks, that day I made a commitment. And that was one of the turning points in my life. And he withdrew the papers. And that year I went ahead, sold close to $1 million. Next year, 3 million. The year after, close to 5 million. Moved on to the US, got into 3 businesses, bought out a company out of California in 1984, started the New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company with close to 500 clients. Now, folks, why do I share my life with you? For a few reasons. Number one, I kept failing all my life and kept blaming the whole world for my failure, not realizing that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside, something changed inside here, and the direction in my life changed. Folks, let me ask you, many times in life, aren't we our own biggest problem? And the second lesson I learned is the difference between a promise and a commitment. Folks, a promise is an agreement we make with the world. A commitment is an agreement we make with ourselves. Folks, unfortunately, today's world runs away from commitments. In fact, they confuse the word commitment with confinement. Not true. In fact, confinement restricts you. Commitment frees you in life to do a lot of things. And folks, that's the time I realized the difference between a moral commitment and a legal commitment. I realized that in life, moral commitments are way, way, way stronger than legal commitments. And in this world of commitment phobia, the basic ingredients to success is missing. And if we want to succeed in life, we need to make a first commitment to our values. That is integrity. Live a life of integrity. That's first commitment. 2, we need to make a commitment to ourselves. 3, we need to make a commitment to our families. 4, we need to make a commitment to our organizations and our customers. And 5, we need to make a commitment to society. Only then, and then only, we have the basic ingredient and foundation to success.